Last week, Concord released to an abysmal launch. Most of the internet has started jumping aboard the hate train, and the truth is that many of the issues people have with the game are valid. However, does that mean that this game is complete garbage, or are people just excited to once again hate on something? In this video, we're going to be taking a look at what are the problems with Concord, what Concord does right, as well as what can it do to possibly recover from this incredibly rough launch. Let's get the major story out of the way. People have been reporting non-stop that Concord's max Steam active players reached less than 300 people, only to be updated a few days later after the game's official release that it was up to 700. Regardless, both of these numbers are terrible. It is important to be said that the game has launched on PlayStation as well, and we don't know how many active PlayStation users are currently playing Concord because Sony doesn't make that information public. Regardless, with a PC launch that low, it is clearly a failure, at least on PC. So, what is wrong with Concord and why aren't people playing it? The first thing of note is that this is a $40 game, as opposed to most competitive first-person shooters out there that have been trending towards free-to-play. Halo Infinite, The Finals, Apex Legends, Valorant, Warzone have all launched as free-to-play games, so the first-person gaming community is not used to the upfront cost before trying something out. So then the question becomes, is Concord worth the $40 price point, even though there are currently no microtransactions in the game? The short answer is no. Even without microtransactions, there is simply not a lot of content in the game. The biggest thing that stands out is the lack of game modes in a multiplayer-only game. Concord was advertised as launching with 6 different game modes. This is an unfortunate and blatant lie, and the idea to advertise it as such should never have left the marketing department. The game's current modes are Brawl, which is Team Deathmatch, Overrun, which is Capture the Zone, and Rivalry, a single spawn elimination with rounds. Those modes are legit. However, the 3 other modes are Time Trials, Training, and Practice Range. Firstly, training and practice range should be called tutorial, and never is a tutorial considered an actual game mode. Time trials is fine, I guess, but usually developers put in a time trials mode in games when it doesn't have enough content to stand on its own. Noticeably missing is any kind of ranked mode. This is a missed opportunity, as a lot of ranked modes are what keep hardcore players coming back over time. Alright, I'm jumping off the hate train. All these criticisms aside, there are some things that Concord really does well. In particular, its gameplay is stellar, pun intended. It has been a little bogged down with lag, which is extremely disappointing given the fact that the player base is not very high, but aside from that, the moment-to-moment gameplay is fantastic. You can tell that it borrows many mechanics from different games, but it combines them in a way that is very fun and functional. It is blatantly obvious that there are members of the old Destiny 2 team working on this game, especially given the fact that they straight up put a Warlock, a Titan, and a Hunter as playable characters. But that's kind of a good thing, because pretty much all of the characters in the game are well thought out. I have played as all of the characters, and after a little bit of a learning curve, I've learned to use each one of them. Obviously, different ones are better at handling different situations, but they are all viable classes who can all get kills and help the team. Another positive about this game is its presentation. I know that there are many people out there who simply don't like the design of the game, but the fact of the matter is, this is one of the best looking competitive first-person shooters on the market. I have to say, it's been nice playing a first-person shooter that actually feels and looks next-gen, as opposed to playing a game that's been ported or rendered originally from older engines. And yes, I know the game looks very Guardians of the Galaxy, but I really don't see a problem with that. I think the design of Guardians of the Galaxy is very cool, and it does set it apart, as opposed to just being another military shooter. So, What can Concord do to bounce back from this lackluster launch? Firstly, as I brought up, this is a $40 game. I think that after experiencing the content they have available at launch, this game should have launched at around $25. Unfortunately, it's a little too late for that, so if Concord wants to get players online, I would say that within the next month, the game needs to go on a 50% discount. I think more players would be willing to pay $20 for this experience as opposed to $40. After that, I do believe that this game needs to make a transition into a free-to-play model by adding currency and microtransactions. It pains me to say that a game needs microtransactions, but it's clear that the current market will not invest in an online first-person shooter without being able to try it first. Lastly, as I alluded to earlier, the game needs more modes to dive into. In particular, there needs to be some sort of ranked mode or matchmaking to give the hardcore fans a reason to come back time and time again. If the developers over at Firewalk Studios are able to implement these changes, they might be able to save their tanking game. And I really hope they do, because I do think that they have something here. It's just unfortunate that most gamers aren't giving it a chance.
I'm overly confident. I'm just that